Hello everyone, and then we're going to learn the further techniques, integration by substitution. When the integrand is the product of two expressions and one part is or resembles the derivative of another part, we're going to let the complicated part, the base, exponent, or inner function be u for substitution. What does it mean? Let's see. There are three steps. Step 1, let the complicated part be u. Step 2, find du over dx. Step 3, make dx the subject. Okay, what do I mean? For example, you can see this. This is, we cannot use any techniques from before, right? Any techniques. Okay, we cannot use like f, as plus b. We cannot use this very simple formula because this is not linear, right? You can see this is not linear. This is not as plus b. It's not linear. This is 3x squared plus 2x. Okay. This is only 1x, but this is x to the power 2. So they are not similar. Okay, so we cannot use all the formulas we learned before. Now what can we do? And this is the multiplication. Okay, this is a product of two expressions, right? Now we need to use the integration by substitution. Integration by substitution. So what can be the part to replace? Okay, we can use u to replace the most complicated part. You can compare these two parts. Which one is more complicated? It's very easy, right? This something to the power 4. This part is 100% more complicated, and it's more complicated. We're going to choose the base or the power or the inner function, right? So it's easy. This is the inner function, right? Because the power is 4. The 4 is very easy, right? It's simple, right? But the base, you see, 3x squared plus 2x is definitely more complicated than the power 4. So we let the more complicated, the u, 3x squared plus 2x be u. Next step, we find the du over dx. The du over dx, it will be what? You differentiate, right? In the differentiation, we can get, it's very easy. So move the 2 to the front and the power minus 1. Differentiate, it will be 6x, right? 3 times 2 is 6. X, 2 minus 1 is x. Okay, 6x and plus 2. 2x, differentiate 2x will be 2. And then next step will be make dx the subject. Dx equals what? Because du over dx is 6x plus 2. And dx just equals du over 6x plus 2. Okay, du over 6x. Why? It's very easy, right? For example, if we both sides, we want to cancel this dx. Both sides you can times dx. Okay, times dx. Times dx. And then this dx can be cancelled, right? This dx can be cancelled. 1 times 1 button can be cancelled. So du equals 6x plus 2 times dx. But we need to make dx the subject. If we want to make dx a subject, we need to both sides divided by 6x plus 2, right? Both sides divided by this part. So du divided by 6x plus 2 here. Du divided by 6x plus 2 and then equals dx. Understand? Okay, now let's continue. Okay, after these 3 steps, we just do replacement. Here, this is u, right? 3x squared plus 2x is u, so u to the power 4. And 6x plus 2, we copy. We don't replace anything. And then the dx, you do the replacement dx. Dx equals what? Equal du over 6x plus 2. So we just replace dx by du over 6x plus 2. And you can see something, right? Something can be canceled. This is 6x plus 2. And 6x plus 2 can be cancelled, right? 1 times 1 button can be cancelled. So it will be integral of u to the power 4 du. And u to the power 4 du is very easy, right? Just x to the power 4 dx, right? So the power plus 1 over the power plus 1, you just use a basic formula. So u to the power 5 over 5 plus c. And don't forget to do resubstitution, okay? You cannot let just the answer be u you put here. No, you do the replacement. So u equals what? 3x squared plus 2x. So you replace u by 3x squared plus 2x, and then this 2 power 5 keep the same 5 and plus c. Understand? These are further techniques, integration by substitution. Okay, now let's do some practice. Here, integration by substitution. There's some questions. Okay, first, look at that. This is the product of two expressions, right? Okay, let's see which part is more complicated. It's definitely 4x squared plus 9 to the power 6, right? And then we said we need to choose the either the power or the base or the inner function, right? So it's easily just the base because the power is 6 is quite easy. So 4x squared plus 9 will be our u, and then du over dx. You differentiate, it will be ax, right? So the power to the front and the power minus 1, 4 times x times 2, it will be ax, okay? And then 9 cancel because differentiate constant will be 0. And dx equals what? Du over ax. Du over ax. Understand? Next. So very easy, right? Just what we did just now. And now let's do the replacement. So ax keep it the same. It's a u, right? 4x squared plus 9 is u. So u to the power 6 times dx. We need to do the replacement. dx equals what? Look at that. It's du over ax. So du over ax. And you can easily see ax can cancel. One top, one bottom can cancel. So integrate u to the power 6 du. And next is, this is quite easy, use of formula. The basic technique is u to power plus 1 over power plus 1, u to the power 7 over 7 plus c. Okay, and don't forget to resubstitution. So it'll be 4x to the power of 2 plus 9 to the power 7 over 7 plus c. Okay, next. Still, let's check whether we can use integration by substitution. First, this is the product of two expressions, and then you let the most complicated be u, right? Here, this is square. Of course, the u will be the inner part, right? 2x cubed minus 2x. So we let u be 2x cubed minus 2x. And then du over dx will be 6x squared minus 2, right? You do the differentiation very easy. And dx equals du over 6x squared minus 2. Now we do the replacement. Here, to integrate square root u and 6x squared minus 2 times dx equals du over 6x minus 2. Now we can cancel these two. So the result will be the u to the power of 1 over 2 du, because square root u equals u to the power 1 over 2 and du. This is quite easy, right? The power plus 1 over the power plus 1. So u to the power 1 over 2 plus 1 will be 3 over 2 over 3 over 2 plus c. You divide it, remember fraction is the division. You divide it by 3 over 2 is actually times its reciprocal. So times 2 over 3. Understand? Divided by a fraction, it means times its reciprocal. So times 2 over 3, u to the 3 over 2 plus c. And don't forget to resub, okay? It will be the 2 over 3 and times 2 x to the power 3 minus 2x, 3 over 2 plus c. Done. Next. Here will be the integrate 4x e to the power 7 minus x squared dx. Okay, let's see which part is more complicated. First, this is the product of two expressions, right? And then which part is more complicated? Of course, the e to the power 7 minus x squared, right? And then you're going to choose the power or the base to be your u. Of course, the power, right? Because the base is a u, is e. E is it's a number, right? It's a indefinite number, okay? So it will be 2.718 dot dot dot, okay? So but 7 minus s squared is more complicated than a pure number. So the u will be 7 minus s squared. Du over dx will be minus 2x. And dx will be du over minus 2x. Okay. Any question? No. Next. So we do the replacement. For x, keep it the same. E to the power u. And then dx equals du over minus 2x. And you can see something you can cancel. This is the 4x. And then minus 2x. I can cancel 2. right? This is 2. Don't forget the minus 1 here, okay? This is minus. So we can move the minus to the front, coefficient move to the front, remember? So move it to the front. And then this 2 keep the same, and of course you can move it to the front. We move the 2 to the front. And the EU, DU, EU, very easy, right? EU just EU, right? From the formula booklet, EX just EX, EU just EU. Okay, so it's minus 2 EU plus C. And then don't forget that the resub, U equals 7 minus S squared, right? U equals 7 minus S squared, okay? And then plus C. Next, here, it will be the 2 minus 15 x squared over 5x cubed minus 2x EX. Oh, you're gonna confuse. I think two parts. These two parts are the same complicated, right? But both are very complicated. How can I determine which part is U? Very easy. You can write in the product form. You see, this is 2 minus 15 as well, you move here, but this is denominator, right? Denominator is actually to the power of minus 1, remember? If you want to move the denominator to the numerator, you need to raise the power to the negative 1, right? So now you can easily determine which one complicated. Of course, it's this one because it has something power. There's no power, okay? It's more complicated. 2 power negative 1. And then, so in this part, which we chose, and which the power or the base are more complicated, of course, is the base, right? So we let the base be U. Yeah, the base be U. So 5x cubed minus 2x, du over dx is 15 x squared minus 2. dx equals du over 15 x squared minus 2. Now we do replacement. Okay, here, this is the 2 minus 15x squared. We keep it the same. And this is u, right? Let it be u. So u to the power negative 1. And dx equals du over 15x squared minus 2. So this is 15x squared minus 2. Next, we cancel. Cancel, it will be minus u to the power minus 1 du. Okay, because these two are the same, but they are opposite, right? 2 minus 15x squared and 15x squared minus 2, they are, you add, so you cannot cancel, but you need to leave a negative 1, okay? For example, if this is the a minus b, and then times 1 over, it is a minus b, okay, bracket, times b over a b minus a, okay? How to cancel it? These two are not exactly the same, right? Okay, equals what? Let's see. I tell you how to cancel it. Okay, don't worry. A minus b and b minus a. B minus a is actually negative. Negative a minus b, right? Negative a minus b. Okay, if you're not sure, you can use distributive law to check. So minus 1 times a, this is a hidden 1. Minus 1 times a is minus a. Minus 1 times minus b is b. So it actually minus a plus b, right? So it's b minus a. Okay, so you can see that a minus b can be canceled. And what's left is minus 1. Understand? That's one. So that's why if this is a minus b times b minus a, and then you cancel them, you can get negative 1. So here, don't forget negative. Negative we move to the front. So negative u to the power minus 1 du equals u to the power negative 1, remember, is actually ln, okay? Ln absolute value u plus c. And don't forget to do resub, okay? So resubstitution. So u equals 5x cubed minus 2x plus c. Done. Next. You integrate cosine 4x sine x dx. Okay, which one is more complicated? Easy, right? The cosine x to the power 4, you can write here. Cosine x to the power 4 sine x dx. And then, of course, cosine x will be more, this whole part will be more complicated. And then the base is complicated than a pure number. So we like u will be cosine x. du over dx will be minus sine x. So dx equals du over minus sine x. Now we do the replacement. This is u to the power 4. Sin x keep the same. Dx equals du over minus sin x, and the sin x you can cancel. Don't forget there's a negative 1, okay? You can move the negative to the front. Then u to the power 4 du. And this is power plus 1 over power plus 1, so minus u to the power 5 over 5 plus c. Okay, and next will be the negative cosine x to the power 5 over 5 plus c, do the resubstitution. Okay, here, let's see this. Oh, this similar, right? These two, they seem to be same complicated level, right? But actually, look at that. We change it to the product. So it's cosine x times sine x to the power negative 1, right? Remember, we want to move it to from the denominator to numerator. The power should be to raise to the power negative 1. So you can easily see this part is more complicated. Okay? Okay, so we let the base, right? We let the base be u. The base sine x is more complicated than negative 1. So u equals sine x, du over dx is cosine x. Dx equals du over cosine x. Now we do the replacement. So cosine x here, this is u to the power negative 1 because sine x equals u. Dx equals du over cosine x equals 3 u to the power negative 1 du. Remember, u to the power negative 1 is ln. So ln u plus c. 3 ln sine x plus c. Done. Next. Here. Next, here. Okay, this is very easy, right? Now we already know this whole part. Okay, we can move the power from 4 to here. So you can easily see this part will be more complicated, and the base or the power or the inner function bu here definitely will be this base, right? This base bu will be more complicated. Okay, so u equals sine 3x minus pi over 2, and this is du over dx. Remember, this is what? This is the chain rule, right? In the differentiation, we learn chain rule, okay? So we differentiate it. It will be 3 times cosine 3x minus pi over 2. So dx equals du over 3 cosine 3x minus pi over 2. Okay, and then we can substitute. Now, this is u to the power 4, no problem. Copy cosine 3x minus pi over 2. Dx equals du over 3 cosine 3x minus pi over 2. And you will be, okay, let's continue. This is 1 over 3, 1 over 3 keep here. This is u to the power 4. This cancel. And times du, no problem. And then we can move the coefficient to the front. And this power plus 1 over power plus 1. So 1 over 3 times u to the power 5 over 5 plus c. And then 1 over 3 times 5. This 3 times 5, numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. So it will be 1 over 15. And u to the power 5 will be, do the replacement, okay? Don't have the replacement, u equals this. And then your final result should write the power here, okay? Don't write the power at like this, okay? It's not okay. Okay, you can write this in the process, but your result should put the power, in the middle. Okay, sine x 3x minus pi over 2 to the power 5. You need to make the power in the middle. Okay. Next, here, tangent 3x. Okay, integrate the sine 3x over cosine 3x dx. Okay, we can change it to the product, right? And now you can easily determine that which part is more complicated. So it's a cosine 3x. Cosine 3x and bu, right? Cosine 3x is more complicated and it's a base, which is a base. So cosine 3x. So we differentiate, it will be minus sine 3x times 3, right? Is the chain rule. So don't forget to differentiate the inner function. Inner function is 3. So we times 3. Inner function 3x, you times 3. Okay? So it will be minus 3 sine 3x. And continue. Dx equals du over minus 3 sine 3x. Okay, we can do the replacement. Here, sine 3x keep the same. This is u, right? U to the power negative 1. Dx is du over minus 3 sine 3x. okay? And then since 3x can be canceled, there's a minus 3 here, but this is in the denominator, right? So it's minus 1 over 3. This is actually 1 over 3, okay, in the denominator. And then u to the power minus 1. We said many times, u to the power minus 1 is ln u, okay? Don't forget it's ln u. So minus 1 over 3 ln u plus c, okay? Then do the resub, u equals cosine 3x, so ln cosine 3x plus c, done.